A daring low-level raid, an intelligence cover-up, and tragedy in the air. Join us as we investigate and relive one of the most audacious missions of the Second World War that remains shrouded in mystery over 80 years later. It's 1100 hours on a cold, stormy winter's day. 19 de Havilland Mosquitos are readied for takeoff. The skilled pilots and navigators of 140 Wing, the RAF's specialist low-level bombing group, take off one by one. Their mission, designated Ramrod 564, but better known as Operation Jericho, is to strike the prison at Amiens, France, and create an opportunity for French resistance members to escape German captivity. Pilot Officer Maxwell Sparks recalled, "I could not see a thing except that grey soupy mist and snow and rain beating against the perspex window." The Mosquitos regroup in clearer skies above Littlehampton, rendezvous with their Typhoon escort of 15 aircraft, and navigate towards France in loose formation, flying at wave-top height to avoid detection by radar. The officer commanding the raid is Group Captain Percy Picard of wartime film Target for Tonight fame. He flies in the middle of the formation in F for Freddy. Just before 1200 hours, the force crosses the French coast and navigates at treetop height across the Somme Picardy landscape to the Amiens prison. The distinctive red brick building is located to the northeast of the city. It stands 15 meters high and is flanked by smaller guard barracks to the sides. Overlaying this post-raid photograph, the prison is seen along the ancient Albert-Amiens road and is surrounded by a 3.4 meter high brick wall, measuring approximately 125 meters east-west and 95 meters north-south. The attackers intend to strike the northern and eastern sides of the prison as shown here. This detailed miniature was also created to familiarize the crews with the target. 6 aircraft of 487 New Zealander Squadron are designated as the first wave and are separated into red and yellow sections. Along the way, Flight Lieutenant Hannafin's aircraft returns to base with engine trouble, leaving 5 aircraft in the first wave. 5 aircraft of 464 Squadron RAAF and Group Captain Picard's aircraft comprise the second wave. A final unarmed film production unit, or FPU, Mosquito is also added to the third wave to document and study the results of the raid. 6 aircraft of 21 Squadron make up the third wave, a reserve force to be used if the target requires further bombing. The New Zealanders, led by Wing Commander Irving Smith, line up with the Albert-Amiens road. The Australians, led by Wing Commander Robert Iredale, wheel around to port to avoid flying into the bomb blasts of the first wave. This takes them over the Luftwaffe base at Glisy. Picard follows them as he coordinates the raid. Racing in at the lowest possible altitude, Maxwell Sparks recalled, "We were flying so low that I had to keep my aircraft tilted at an angle to avoid hitting the tops of the trees with my wing. The poplars suddenly petered out, and there, a mile ahead, was the jail. It looked just like the model, and within a few seconds we were almost on top of it." At 12:03 hours, the Mosquito pilots dropped their 500-pound semi-armor piercing and medium-capacity bombs, which smash through the high outer walls and penetrate the main prison structure. This remarkable photograph, taken just moments after release, shows strikes around the main gate. Some of the bombs skip along the icy ground, while others fall directly onto the prison. On 11-second fuses, the bombs explode, demolishing parts of the prison and blasting open a hole in the southern wall. This photograph shows the breach made by Smith's bombs. The remaining 2 New Zealander aircraft come in low from the north and place their bombs just as accurately. Pilot Officer Darrell blows open a hole in the northern wall, while Pilot Officer Fowler hits the prison itself. The Australians are lining up with the Albert-Amiens road when Picard is attacked by 2 unseen FW-190s from Grevier Airfield, who slip past the Typhoon escorts. One of the German aircrafts is flown by Feldwebel Wilhelm Meyer. Picard takes evasive action, but a burst from Meyer removes the tail section of the Mosquito. Witnesses observed the Mosquito out of control and fatally spinning into the ground near Saint-Gratien, 7 miles northeast of the prison. Meanwhile, Iredale's flight approaches. Iredale remembered. Clouds of smoke and dust came up, but over the top I could still see the triangular gable of the prison. I released my bombs from 10 feet and pulled up slap through the smoke over the prison roof. Jean Baron, a resistance member inside the prison, recalled. The window was shattered and the walls cracked open. I had been hurt, and I saw that my cellmates were spitting blood. They too had been caught by the blast. Squadron Leader McRitchie and Flight Lieutenant McPhee approach the northern wall. They create another hole in the western corner of the wall and cause further damage to the prison structure. By this point, both ends of the Amiens prison have collapsed, and concussions from the explosions have forced open the cell doors as intended, allowing hundreds of prisoners to break out. Dominique Ponchardier, head of the Socii Resistance, waits outside the prison to assist the escapees. At 12:13 hours, a message believed to be transmitted by Picard is heard calling off the third wave and ordering 140 wing home. It is actually Flight Lieutenant Hickam who relays the message, as he begins to make low-level passes in the FPU Mosquito. His cameraman, Pilot Officer Howard, takes these shots only minutes after Picard is shot down. These stills, taken from Howard's film and later reconnaissance photos, reveal the extent of the damage. 2 breaches are achieved in the northern wall, and 2 more are found in the northwest corner and southern wall respectively. The prison itself suffers terrible damage, and it is estimated that 95 prisoners are killed. On the other hand, some 460 prisoners out of more than 700 are unaccounted for by the 19th of February. On the way home, McRitchie is shot down by flak and becomes a POW. 2 Typhoons are also lost for a loss of 4 aircraft. 95 French prisoners are killed in the raid, with an estimated 194 prisoners remaining free by the 26th of February. Of this number, about 84 French resistance members permanently escape. The raid is considered an overall success. The raid has come to be known as Operation Jericho, referencing the fall of the Canaanite city of Jericho in the Bible. The name comes from the 1946 French film Jericho, which retells the story of the raid. Its real designation, however, was Ramrod 564, a decidedly less interesting title. The official rationale, as conceived by Air Vice Marshal Basil Embry and seen right in this photo, centered on a request from the French resistance to rescue captured Allied agents who faced imminent execution at the prison at Amiens. 2 Group was selected for the task due to their specialization in low-level flying and because of their success in other similar precision raids, which often called for the destruction of a single building in urban areas. The story given to the Mosquito crews that 120 French patriots would be shot without immediate action was not entirely true. This was created by the Directorate of Intelligence for Research, or the DIR, a secret Air Ministry department coordinating operations between the RAF, MI6, and the Special Operations Executive. But there are no records of 120 prisoners due to be shot at this time. Why this was done remains unanswered. However, what is known is that in late 1943 and early 1944, Dominique Ponchardier had made requests to MI6 for an attack on the prison by indicating the potential execution of up to 12 prisoners by the 19th of February. This information was probably embellished to incite urgency and was later sensationalized by MI6 to justify the operation, although there were about 190 suspected resistance members in the prison at this time. He also passed on information about the prison that allowed Basil Embry to design the attack. Additionally, the French resistance in northern France was in the process of collapse at the hands of the Gestapo. As such, several notable resistance members and some unnamed European or American intelligence agents found themselves interned at Amiens prison. The need for a functional underground organization during the imminent Allied invasion of France made it imperative to save these prisoners. Estimates vary, but at least 700 people were inside the prison on the 18th of February, including Dr. Antonin Mont and Raymond Vivant, both leaders of the Organisation Civile et Militaire, or the OCM, in the Somme area. Both were freed in the raid, but Mont decided to be recaptured in order to tend to the wounded. MI9 agent Dr. Robert Beaumont, who helped downed Allied airmen escape France, was killed in the raid. Further, Germany's top-secret V1 project was discovered by French resistance members working with the MI6, and British intelligence aimed to support this network. Finally, an intriguing detail is that Group Captain Picard and Squadron Leader Philippe Lavelle, both flying on the raid, were personally connected to members of the French resistance. According to historian Robert Lyman, Picard had even met Ponchardier through his work as a special duties pilot, which almost certainly helped push the secret mission into action. Beyond these details, we can't be sure of much else until the mission is fully declassified, but whatever needed to be achieved by the various intelligence agencies was probably achieved. Regardless, the sacrifice made by all parties involved was undoubtedly heroic, and the flying skill displayed was absolutely superb. Thanks for watching.